All right, here we are. Talk a little bit about this team's journey. You got off to a slow start and you kind of built it up after that. What was about this team that makes it special to get to this point?
Well, yeah, we definitely got off to a slow start in the fall. But even in the fall, we played some really good rounds that I think allowed us to realize we could do this. We could play great. At Georgia Tech, we had one of the low rounds, I think, the last day, which I think just makes the guys realize that we can play at a very high level. So we've done that all year. And in the spring, we did it a couple more times at Florida State's event. We had 2 low rounds and put ourselves in position with 2 great teams with Vandy and Virginia that day. We just hadn't done it for 3 days. And this team's just kind of been very resilient this year and believing in themselves. We've been down below the 500 record most of the year. I think we finally got above it at San Francisco at Stanford's event. And I think we took a breath and we probably kind of let off the gas at that point just because we felt like we were in a good position at that time. And then it all kind of came together here at regionals.
Is it a lot of pressure? You think maybe pressure to do better was what was maybe some of the ills that you had earlier in the season? And how do you keep that from coming back up for the national championships?
Well, yeah, I think it was definitely pressure. When you get under that 500 rule and realize that you cannot qualify for the NCAAs without being above it, it definitely adds some stress and some pressure. And as a coach, it's my job to kind of get them focused on the process and what we do on a daily basis to get them not to worry about the result. But it's really challenging. It's difficult. So for my job this week going into nationals is mainly to get us to focus on what allowed that great play to happen at regionals. We weren't going in trying to win that tournament. We were going in to just have great attitudes, compete, believe in each other. And we practiced hard. We did a really good job in the mornings last week, just doing short game and wedge work and some putting. And we're going to try to do that here in the next couple of days and be ready to go on Friday.
Talk about this team's makeup and how it kind of complements, how the players all complement each other.
They do. We got a bunch of great guys. They're just good dudes. They're joyful to be around. And I think that helps more than anything. They enjoy being with each other. We enjoy going to dinner together. They enjoy practicing together. But we got a bunch of different guys too. We got Jonathan Nielsen from Denmark, Alberto's from Spain, Thomas is from Higgins, Thomas Higgins is from Ireland, Andrew's from Hilton Head. Who am I missing there? And then Callahan's right here in Greenville. So we got a diverse group that has enjoyed kind of learning from each other. Some of our guys are getting used to eating Thai food and some Japanese and some different just culinary experiences, but I think it's just brought us closer together because you get to experience different cultures. So we just got a bunch of good guys that like hanging out with each other.
The course you're getting ready to play on, talk a little bit about the challenges it has. Have you been on a course like this in your play this year, and what are some things that you're going to have to get used to out there?
Well, I really know very little about the golf course. I'm excited to watch our ladies play tonight, see what we can learn from them. We'll talk to Kelly and Katie this week and see what they can help us with in preparation for it. But this golf course has recently been renovated, so no one's played it, or no one's supposed to have played it, and so I think we're all going in with a blank slate. We're trying to do some research using Decade, kind of provides us satellite images, gives us kind of a blueprint for how to play the golf course, but really we know very little about it. But Clemson allowed us to travel all over the place for our schedule. So we went out to San Francisco this year, so we've been on the West Coast, so we should be used to traveling. We should be used to the grasses that are in that area. Our bent green here is the same thing we're going to see there. So Casey Eccles has done an amazing job with our facility, and it's only going to help us out there.
Coach, what is it like, or what do you think as far as the makeup of Callahan as a person that has allowed him to peak at the right time and have such a great performance in, such a big stage?
Well, yeah, he's a man of integrity and character. Again, he's always smiling, and he's done this before. Like, even though it was at Anderson, he's been one of the best players in the country there. He's had a bunch of top 10s there. He's actually had 4 top 10s in my mind for us, where he played in 2 individual tournaments, top 10. He finished, I think, 5th in the Azalea Amateur. So it's not like he hasn't done this before. But it was really his attitude last week. He's just smiling all the time, and it just rubs off on the guys.
And the message from Coach Brownell, I know it's been a pretty cool thing for the players, and Coach Brownell might be getting more out of them than he's giving to them with the swing.
He's getting a putting lesson right now.
Putting lessons, but what has it been like to see a coach with a recent, postseason run come here and get back to the guys?
Yeah, I mean that's why we asked him to come speak to him. We had a rough run at the ACC tournament that last day, and I knew they had kind of had a similar struggle at Boston College. So he had been through what I was about to go through. So it's really cool to have, a head coach of his status kind of invest in me, talk to me about how he handled it, but then to come and spend the time with the team. And he really challenged them in several different ways, but he also encouraged them and then gave them something to believe in. Just try to get them to be great teammates, keep your heads up, just kind of talked about Clemson grit, talked about Clemson pride, talked about just doing the little things well, control the things you can control, all those kind of cliches, but it was a different voice hearing him say it instead of me saying the same thing over and over. So I'm just really thankful that he was willing to spend the time with them. I know they appreciate it, and I know it helped. There's no doubt it helped us.
And this will be your first nationals as a head coach here.
It is. It will.
So how do you,
As the head coach,
right? How do you put into perspective, the great accomplishment, but still being hungry at the same time?
Well, I think being hungry is going to be easy. We've missed the last couple years, been really close. We finished 6th 2 years ago at regional. Last year we lost in a playoff. So we've been really close to qualifying the last 2 years. And I think this group knew that. I mean, that was part of my speech to them the night before. It was just like, we're a better team than we were last year, and we almost made it. And I went kind of around the room and just asked them if they were a better player now. And it's easy for them to see they're a much better individual player, which makes our team better. So staying hungry this week, I think my job is more to keep them focused on what we did in preparation to play great and not going there with these high expectations. We're still the 28th ranked team in the field of 30. So I think there's a chip on our shoulder there. We're going out there with house money, per se. So we're just going to let it play free and let it go.
Talk a little bit about dear Jonathan. Nielsen's had 6 top 10s. He's had quite a year.
Jonathan's been brilliant for us this year. He's kind of flying under the radar because he hasn't had that kind of marquee win yet. But he's played great at least 2 rounds almost every tournament this spring, where he's played great the first round, great the last time, and that middle round's kind of held him back. But we spent some time Friday talking about his week last week, and he really overcome something that was kind of getting in his head, where he played great the first day, shoots 69 the second day, comes back and really stayed focused on his game plan, and then he played really well that last day. So, I mean, he's been brilliant for us. He's got 15 rounds in the 60s. Tim can tell you, but it's
20 under par.
I mean, he's moving up the leaderboard now for rounds in the 60s,
Third.
rounds that count. He's got a great stroke average for the year, but he's just been rock solid. He's done it all year, so I fully expect him to go out there and do it again. There's no real weaknesses in this game. Like he's just good, and he's starting to believe. That's what's cool about having 3 guys that are D2 kind of transfers in. Is there was a time period where I don't think they truly believed they may have belonged, and it's just taken a little longer than I had hoped, because I knew they could play. I mean, it's not hard to see them when you're at home and see if they can really play. But when you show up and you see the top teams in the country, it just took a little bit longer. But I think they have that taste in their mouth right now where they truly believe they belong, and we can do about anything if they believe.